making this video for a few reasons. The main reason is to process my feelings on what I'm about to talk about, because for a while I didn't even know that something bad had happened to me. Or I did, but I didn't know that I could talk about it. But I was recently talking to a friend of mine about this thing, and she told me that it's not okay, and that it's good for me to talk about it, and I need to get it off my chest more. Second reason I'm making it is to help any people who might be going through something similar, and maybe don't feel comfortable talking about it, to know that you're not alone. People have and are going through what you are or have gone through, and there's still hope for you. You're gonna be okay. So, just to hop into it, I haven't scripted this at all, so it's gonna be really scatterbrained, I guess. About 2 years ago, when I was 15, I took a trip on my own to France. My parents had extra money, and I was getting really good at French in my high school, so they wanted to send me there to kind of practice it a little bit. And so, of course, I accepted that. I wasn't going to say no to going to France, and it was for a month. At the time, I was dating a girl. I won't say her name. She's actually famous now on Instagram, but I won't say her name. And we were pretty early on in our relationship. We had recently started dating. And so, to be honest, I probably should have been spending the summer break with her. But I had this opportunity, and I didn't want to miss it. So I went to France, against my better judgment. The first 2 weeks I was there, it was fun-ish. I made some friends. I did make some friends. But I was also extremely worried and anxious that my girlfriend would fall out of love with me, or abandon me, or start hating me, even though it was irrational. I feared that. And so I had that in the back of my head the whole time, and it was making me very, very anxious. Every day I would be anxious to the point of feeling sick. I couldn't eat. At that time, it was the worst my mental health had ever been. I became suicidal, and I did start doing self-harm at that time. Now, all that is to say that I was not in a good spot at this time that I was in France. And so I was already not doing well. And so about 2 weeks in, half of the people there, who were only staying half the time, left the program, and a new group of people our age came in, because we were in this sort of dorm system, kind of like a college, but for high schoolers. And in this group was a girl so she was 3 years older than me, so she was 18 at the time, when I was 15. And as soon as she latched onto me. And I didn't know how to process that because, as an average looking guy, I had never experienced anything along those lines, you know. Um, and looking back on it, it wasn't me that caused her to latch on. It's that she was struggling with her own stuff really heavily. And I do feel for her to some degree about that because it's a complicated issue. She hurt me really bad, as I'll talk about soon, but she was hurting herself. So anyway, this girl comes in 2 weeks into the program, and I'm not doing well, and she instantly latches onto me. And this stresses me out immensely because I didn't want her coming onto me because I had a girlfriend who I loved, still love, and it was really uncomfortable for me to have this other girl constantly being weird around me and giving me weird looks and just being very needy and clingy. And I had barely even talked to her. I didn't know her at all. So I tried to avoid her. I told her that I had a girlfriend who I loved. And she didn't care. She just didn't care. And she kept on pursuing me, even though I told her I did not want it. Anytime our group was walking around in France, she would always be next to me, no matter how much I tried to get away from her. And she would always be accidentally touching me. We had administrators, but I didn't want to tell them. Partly because, as I'll get to very soon, she was incredibly unstable, and I was worried that if I got her in deep shit, that she would do something bad to herself. So it all came to a head one night, about a week after she got to the program. It was about midnight. I actually had just recovered from a panic attack. It wasn't pretty. And she had gotten out of her room, and she had snuck past the admins, and she knocked on my door. And the door did not have a peephole, so I couldn't see who it was. And I opened the door, and it was her. And her arms were dripping with blood. Now, me being an empath, I was worried for her. I was scared for her. So I told her to come in and wash her arms and sit down and focus on breathing. So she went into my bathroom and she washed her arms. But when she came out, she had taken off her shirt and her bra. I didn't know what to do. I didn't handle it in the best way. I told her to sit down and just breathe. My brain was shot from the panic attack that I'd had before she got there, so I wasn't thinking very So she sat down, and I sat down on the other side of the bed because I didn't want to be that close to her. And so as I tried to guide her through breathing and talk to her about what was going on, she got closer to me and she put her hand on the inside of my thigh. And it made me so viscerally uncomfortable, so I jumped up and was like, I don't want this. Please stop. And she stood up when I jumped up, and she grabbed my hips, and she pushed me against the wall, which was right next to my bed. And she started kissing me, literally everywhere. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to push her or use force on her, but I also didn't want her on me. But I kind of held her away from me without force and told her to sit back down. And I was trying to talk to her, and she had said how she felt as though nobody loved her and that she was worthless and that she wanted to kill herself. And so I tried to reassure her that she wasn't worthless, all while freaking out in my head about what had happened, feeling like I cheated. While she was talking that second time, she once again tried to come over to me and take off my shirt and kiss me. But I pushed her away. I pushed her. Because, and it wasn't the right thing to do, probably, but I didn't know what to do. Eventually she left, and she never talked to me for the rest of the trip. She didn't even look at me. After that trip, my girlfriend and I broke up for other reasons. But I couldn't help but feel like, even though I didn't consent, that I somehow cheated on her when she had kissed me. I still don't know how to process that night and those feelings. I can say that I'm permanently scarred by it. But I'm trying my best to get better, and I think that's what counts. So if anyone is watching this and you've experienced something similar, I would love to hear your story in the comments, and we can support each other and love each other and get through it together, whether you're